It's about mental strength and about staying as relaxed as you can as well. And then as soon as the breathing envy is coming, I just try to stay relaxed and focus on my objective. Holding your breath is about time. A watch is the main tool that a freediver needs.
What gives us our edge? And how do we go beyond it? How thin is the line between taking part and tipping into victory? What inspires those moments of rare advantage, down to the millimetre, down to the microsecond, that change the shape of the race? Is it faith, talent, focus, or sheer determination? Are winners born or made? And what happens when things go wrong? Or when it all goes right? Welcome to The Edge. We'll be talking to people operating at the very edge of possibility, from athletes to actors, and from artists to entrepreneurs. I'm your host, Theo van den Broeke, and we'll be giving you the fuel you need to get in the zone and challenge your limits. Watch out. This is The Edge, a podcast by TAG Heuer.
Arthur Guérin-Boëri, thank you so much for joining me at The Edge with TAG Heuer. It's so exciting to have you here in the flesh. We have lots to talk about today. Most importantly, obviously, your freediving career. I guess the first thing I'd quite like to discuss with you, I read something in the news recently about you wanting to break a new record, a swimming costume record in Canada. So can you explain what the costume is compared to, I guess, a suit?
I just sent an email before because I saw like you were talking about a swimming costume. I don't know why. It's just a swimsuit, actually. It's like a regular swimsuit.
I think that's a language barrier thing that we might have.
I don't know where the quiproquo came. So it's just a regular.
So we just mean like a pair of swimming trunks, basically.
Yeah, just like a Speedo, you know.
Sure. Okay. So
just like a Speedo, and I would have like a cap, like a head cap,
right,
and a pair of goggles, like just a mask maybe.
Okay.
And my Speedo, and that's it.
Is that because it's a temperature thing, or what's the difference between diving in just a pair of trunks and wearing the full
like
suit?
A wetsuit?
Yeah.
Oh well, it's a question of cold.
Yeah, okay.
It's a question of cold. Usually we use wetsuits in freediving, either if we're like freediving in the sea, like depth, or dynamic freediving in pools, or even under ice. Normally we use wetsuits.
Right.
But I wanted to take like a higher challenge and leave my wetsuit in my bag and try to jump under the ice like just with a Speedo.
Oh wow!
And so that's just a way to explore something new and to like overpass myself like in something new and different than what I'm used to do.
Wow.
Normally. So basically it's like the same. There's just the coldness that's just like way more important.
But when you're doing something at the level that you're doing it at and already pushing yourself as hard as you are, surely something like a couple of degrees drop in temperature is actually quite impactful. How do you...
There's a lot of degrees of difference.
Is there? Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like a wetsuit is very protective.
Okay.
It's like thermoprotective. Even if it's like thin. I had like a 2 millimeters wetsuit last March on my first world record attempt of these 2 world record attempts I'm doing right now.
Right.
The first one was like last March.
Yeah.
The next one is next March. So the last one was like with my thin wetsuit, like 2 millimeters one. And but it's already a very big difference.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. So doing it without any kind of wetsuit, I mean, that's going to be a real challenge, right?
Now, yes, there is a big work to do on cold acclimatization, cold water acclimatization, and this is something that will come besides of my freediving training and physical trainings. This is something new I'm adding, actually.
So what specifically does that cold acclimatization training look like?
Well, It's in the winter first.
Okay.
And basically it's going in cold water as regularly as I can. Not more than 5 times a week, because otherwise it's too tiring. And basically it's like go in the water as regularly as you can, like during all the year, trying not to stop. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm swimming in the sea in summer, and I continue swimming in the sea during fall,
Right.
and then I continue it during the winter. So my body acclimatizes progressively to the cold temperatures.
Right.
I cannot jump in a 5 degrees water straight without any acclimatization before. Otherwise, my body is not going to support it. I'm going to. I know, like my heart can stop, and I can fall in hypothermia very fast. So my body has to be very acclimatized, and this acclimatization goes through a very progressive adaptation through the seasons, actually.
Right.
So the important point is to go in the water as regularly as I can, and not to stop.
Okay.
Try to follow the drop of the temperatures in the sea, in the lakes, even in the pools, outside pools, like in my village, just behind Nice.
Yeah.
My aunt's place. There's a pool there outside the house, and I go there for my cold water trainings usually. And so I have to go to make it progressive and slow. That's the key.
Will it impact how long you're able to stay underwater? It being that much colder on your body, will it make that kind of instinct to protect yourself and stay alive that much keener, or are you aiming for it to not have any impact on the duration?
There's a big impact of the cold on the breathing envy.
Right.
We call it the breathing, the urge to breathe.
Breathing envy. I like that.
Breathing envy, that's the urge to breathe, you know
Sure.
what I mean?
Yeah.
The cold has a huge impact on it. It's not only a matter of sensation. When we dive, when we free dive, actually, there is a lot of physiological adaptations that comes to us after a certain point when we hold our breath. These physiological adaptations will be like heart rate slowing down, vasoconstriction, peripheric vasoconstriction, and kind of a blood shift, and the blood is coming back to the vital organs.
Right.
So those are like the 3 mains, what we call mammal reflex. It's those physiological adaptation I was talking about. And those physiological adaptations, usually when they start during the dive, it's the exact same moment as when the breathing envy pops up. You know what I mean?
Sure. Yeah.
The cold water effect will be to make it happen sooner. The diving reflex, the mammal reflex. So as those diving reflexes come sooner, the breathing envy will come sooner as well. So it's not just a matter of sensation of cold. It's also a matter of freediving challenge, I would say.
Right.
Like mental challenge. You know what I mean?
And your body kind of literally working against you to allow you to do what you want to do in a way, and overcoming that.
My body can work against me, sorry?
I guess it's all of those physiological adaptations are working against your desire to...
No, actually, those it's very ambivalent, because those physiological adaptations, they are needed to go far, or to stay long on breath hold, or to go deep in the sea. It's without those mammal reflexes, those physiological adaptations, we cannot hold our breath for so long. Those are physiological mechanism that allows us to hold our breath in security for very long.
Right.
Those are survival mechanism.
Right. Sure. Yeah.
And it's in our genes. Actually, it's natural. It's like a reflex. We cannot control it actually.
Okay.
And it's common to all the mammals. So whales, us, cats, dogs, and mouses.
Sure.
So we have it as well, and those are like the key to hold our breath for long.
Right.
That's it.
Okay.
But on the other hand, when you have those adaptations popping during the breath hold, usually the urge to breathe, the feeling that you want to breathe, comes at the exact same time those reflexes are starting. You know what I mean?
Yes. Okay. Yeah.
It's a matter of CO2 and brain adaptation to the CO2 that is increasing in the blood.
Right.
When you hold your breath. So this is the question. So yes, actually, you need those reflexes, but on the other hand, the urge to breathe is coming in the same time. In cold water, those reflexes are starting very, very fast.
Mm.
The vasoconstriction, the heart rate dropping, and the blood shift to the vital organs, it starts very, very, very fast.
Mm.
Like just after, I don't know, maybe 20 meters under the ice,
Wow.
swimming, it's starting very strong. And so the breathing envy in the same time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, this is the main impact of cold water on freedivers. It's that it makes it more difficult mentally, but on the other hand, the diving reflexes are very strong, so you're kind of safe actually, because those reflexes allows us to go far on our breath holds in security. Actually, this is a security system for the body to protect itself. You know what I mean?
Amazing. Yeah.
That's it.
We're going to talk more about the record-breaking dive that you did last year in much more detail soon. But I guess before we do that, we should go back to the beginning. Arthur, how did you get into freediving in the first place?
Whoa, young. I was born in Nice, my hometown now, but I grew up in Paris. But both of my families, they come from south of France. And so I was going there very oftenly when I was a child during holidays. And I spent most of my time underwater, like playing with the fishes and stuff like that. So already very young, I had like a very close intimacy with this element. And I felt well underwater holding my breath. It was like something, I don't know, very deep inside me.
Okay.
And then I saw the movie, The Big Blue. I don't know if you heard about it. It's very famous in France.
Yeah.
And it's a bit cliche to say that, but it had a big impact on me. I was exactly feeling the same thing as the feeling that is described in this movie when the main character is diving underwater, with this feeling of very very poetic, very detached from reality in his thoughts, and this was exactly what I was feeling underwater before. So I saw the movie and I said, okay, this is something very interesting. Maybe it's something I should get involved in more seriously. But I didn't actually at that time. I saw the movie at the age of like 10, 12 years old.
Right.
But it stayed in my mind for my whole like teenage time. And then at the age of 25, 26, just after my studies in Paris, I went back to sport seriously. I went back like swimming. Don't know why, but it was just swimming. And after a while, I was on the internet at my place trying to find like a swimming coach, to do it seriously. And suddenly I said to myself, okay, I love freediving. Is there any way to do it like in a club with like professional coaches and teachers, like someone who can tell you how to do it? I thought I was the only dumb guy to search for it, and actually I typed on Google freediving club Paris, and I realized that it was like a sport that was exploding at that time.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's actually it's not today. It's not only a sport reserved to a category of diver, like a very experienced diver who wants to train in pools and stuff like that. It's not like only for spearfishers who want to improve their skills. Actually, today it's like a sport therapy, which is actually it's a sport that a lot of people are begging for, in big cities, especially like Paris, for example.
Of course,
people always like looking for, like I don't know, like yoga, tai chi, meditation.
And I was going to say it's meditative, right?
You know what I mean?
Yeah, of course.
These kind of activities, and actually, freediving became one of these activities, one of these sports that are very trendy nowadays. So now there is like everybody coming in clubs and trying, not only like skilled divers or spearfishers, as it was like before,
right,
a few decades away. But now it's like everybody's coming to try this sport because like they saw in their favorite magazine that it was like good for body and mind,
yeah,
and that they tried yoga, they tried meditation, and they're bored.
Yeah.
They want to try something new as usual, and so they come to freediving, and that's it actually. So we have a lot of these kind of people trying freediving right now. It's a very trendy sport in big cities in France, and we have like there is not a single swimming pool now in Paris without a freediving club.
Wow.
So there's
is that a fact?
Yeah, it's
God,
a fact.
amazing.
There's a big development
Gosh.
in that sport. So that's how I started. I found a freediving club on my computer on Google, and I just tried. I did like what we called a baptism.
Okay.
This is how we call it. This is how we call it. It's like a first time experience in diving.
Okay.
And then I just realized that I found something very important for me.
What was that first baptism like? How much can you do in your first try? Like what?
It's very simple. It's just like a first contact with the sport. Your teacher is telling you the basics, like how to breathe, how to swim underwater, how the philosophy of this sport a little bit, relaxation, trying to be as smooth as you can. It's all a matter of relaxation actually in freediving. So it's just the basics. So this is what you learn at first, and this is what I've learned for that first time. Like just the real basics, and then you can try a few breath holds, but not very long. You're not here to perform. You're just here to have a first touch with the discipline.
Right.
You know what I mean?
So it sounds like it's a relatively easy access sport depending on, you don't have to have been brought up on the coast like diving every day. It's something that anyone can.
No. Actually, most of the freedivers are practicing in pools in France.
Wow.
Because there's just the cities between Marseille and Monaco, basically, where you can practice freediving. You know what I mean? So it's not everybody. So actually, most of the people are practicing in pools in big cities like Paris, Lyon, I don't know, and even in small cities in France. So indoor freediving is what is developing the most right now. Even if, like, of course, all the disciplines are very cool, and I love like diving deep in the sea. I love holding my breath and static as well, even if I do it a lot less. But there's different disciplines, like static, deep diving, dynamic diving.
Of course.
That's the 3 main disciplines.
And out of those disciplines, which do you find yourself most drawn to?
Well, the I think my favorite one is like deep diving. This is what I prefer.
Of course.
But the one in which I am the most skilled, I would say, is dynamic freediving. So it's like going as far as I can.
Of course.
Like with my monofin, my big monofin, or like on breaststroke without fins.
Right.
This is what I do the best. And recently, under the ice.
It strikes me, it's kind of interesting. I run personally, and I've kind of got into it. Originally, I got into it as a fitness thing, and then I've realized, and I'm sure lots of people would say this about the sports that they engage with, it's much more about my mental state than it is anything else. Do you think that there's kind of an alignment, you've already touched on it a little bit, between our growing appreciation of the importance of mental health and sports that are quite meditative, such as freediving? Is there a correlation between?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah,
sure. Mind's health is growing more and more, and people are in this eternal quest of well-being all the time, especially in our society now, where everything is very aggressive, everything is very competitive. People are being asked to be performant all the time in their jobs, in their life, personal life, professional life, so the people have a big need of well-being more and more, and are searching for it. So I think this is the reason this kind of sport are developing so much right now. Yeah, sure.
Do you think that I guess this is kind of a similar point, but do you think that your ability to push yourself to such limits underwater impacts the way that you live above it?
Oh yeah, sure. This is the reason I call it sport therapy.
Right.
It's because this kind of mental tweaks that you have to master when you hold your breath for so long directly impacts the way you deal with your stress, the way you deal with adversity, your resilience ability, your self-confidence, your self-consciousness, all these kind of topics. Yeah, because this is a very unique mental training, I would say, trying to undertake a very primitive survival reflex that is the breathing envy. This is very, very unique. There is not any other activity in the world where you learn such things. Sometimes people going very very high in like the Everest or something like this. They can experiment the envy, the urge to breathe, but we do it voluntarily. We hold our breath, and this is very unique as a mental process, and it affects and impacts our everyday life very, very fast when you start freediving, even at low levels. Like, you don't need to be a champion. Even like if you freedive just for fun, not going very far outside of your comfort zone, you already feel the impacts. Yeah.
This is a personal question, you don't need to answer it, but was there something that happened in your life that kind of triggered you to need that way of managing things? Or was it more of just a general kind of, this is something that I know will benefit me?
Oh yes, before to start freediving, I was like in a urban everyday life that I was very uncomfortable with in Paris, very stressed. I was like very anxious, worried, and freediving saved me. That's for sure. Yeah,
amazing.
So this is what pushed me actually to go back to sport, basically, and then in a second time to think about freediving as a way maybe to get better, and actually it worked. And now I'm a professional freediver. trying to get out of my comfort zone in some different things, even more than just free diving,
Yeah.
like developing projects with my partners. I'm working on a documentary series right now. I have, communication projects with different kind of partners, and I don't know, like conferences, talks, workshops. That's it. I'm just trying to change the ways that I get out of my comfort zone. This is what I think is the most important. Not stay in the same thing all the time, because otherwise it's going to get too easy at the end.
Yeah, agreed. I understand that feeling. I've got two more kind of general questions about freediving before we go into the big dive that we're going to talk about. This may connect to that. What has been your what's been your favorite dive to date?
My favorite dive. My favorite dives are usually the ones I'm doing when I'm training for depth.
Okay.
In the sea. I'm doing what we call hangs. It means that I'm getting down at a certain depth, usually 45, 50, 55 meters. And I hang down there for a certain time before to come back up to the surface.
Wow.
And usually I'm getting down very, very slow, like for 1 minute, 30 seconds. Then I hang down there like for 2 minutes.
Wow.
In the big blue, minus 55. And then I come up to surface in 1 minute and 30 seconds, the same. So it's 5 minutes dives, about 5 minutes.
Wow.
And I go down, I stay down there, eyes closed, in the middle of this immensity,
Wow.
And then I go back to surface. That's my favorite dives usually. This is undescriptible.
So you're under the water holding your breath for 5 minutes or more doing those dives?
Yeah, but those are very specific trainings.
Right.
I don't do it all the time, but I know that when I do it, it's very, very pleasant. That's my favorite dives. That's for sure.
What's your feeling when you're down there?
The compression, the blue, the darkness as well, the cold. You're kind of entirely concentrated, literally. It means focus on just on yourself, your sensations, living the present moment, and that's it. Totally away from the surface and your surface life and all that comes with it. It's just a moment for yourself, focused, and you're just well. I feel very well down there. You don't feel the need, the urge to breathe, the need to breathe.
Really?
Down there you don't feel it because the compression makes it easier. There is some, I would say, physiological changes in your blood with compression, specifically with oxygen, that makes it easier for you to resist the breathing envy down there. We don't want to breathe. Actually, you're good.
Wow.
And you're just hanging there to the rope, and you're just observing around a little bit, closing your eyes, and you feel the compression, and it increases even more this feeling of concentration, introspection, maybe even introspection.
Right.
And so you're there for 2 minutes, and then after 2 minutes, I start to go back to the surface, and it's I don't know, it's like a feeling to just to get born again. You know what I mean? Like coming back to surface, to the fresh air after such a long time down there hanging. So that's undescriptible feeling.
So when you take that first breath, are you kind of desperate for it?
It's okay actually. 5 minutes is 5 minutes without so much effort, because when you go down, you free fall after 20 meters because you don't the buoyancy is positive just in the 15, 20 first meters. Then you free fall.
Wow.
Yeah. you free fall.
So you're just like a dead weight.
So there's not so much efforts to go down there, and 5 minutes without so much efforts. I mean, your oxygen levels are okay. I mean, mine actually are okay. So I'm not so much hypoxic, as we say, when I come back up to the surface. It's okay.
Wow.
Yeah.
God, I did not know
big
that.
dives, like my big dives are like swimming nonstop for like 4 minutes and 30 seconds, 4 minutes and even 50 seconds for my personal best in pools. Swimming nonstop without compression, so without this effect. It's way, way, way harder
I bet.
than like going down in the sea.
Right.
This is a big difference between dynamic freediving and deep diving in the sea. Dynamic freediving in pool, it's way, way, way harder
Right.
mentally because you don't have the compression that helps you to manage your breathing envy. You don't have the free fall, so you cannot relax for this big free fall that you'll have from 20 meters, minus 20 to the bottom. And you have the surface just over your head as well in the pool, like going horizontally, So it's way, way, way harder. And the dives actually are way longer as well in dynamic. When you go down in deep diving for a performance, you dive like for, 3:30, 4 minutes for the deepest ones. In pool, my world records are like 4:30, 4:50, 4 minutes and 50 seconds. So it's like way longer.
Wow.
So it's longer. The urge to breathe is bigger. You don't have the compression. You don't have the free fall. So it's way, way, way harder to manage mentally for about the breathing envy.
And I guess you're using more oxygen because you're swimming.
You're swimming. Yeah.
So that-
Yeah. And in deep diving as well. So this is the advantage. Like the advantage actually of this is the difficulty of diving in the pool is all that I said. That is very hard mentally. The advantage of pool diving is that you don't take so much risk.
Sure.
On the other hand, in deep diving, the advantage I would say would be that you don't really feel the breathing envy, but there is the risk taking that is the inconvenient, I would say.
Has there been a moment where you've felt like you've pushed it too far? Where you're like, okay, that risk was too great to take, and
Not really, no.
okay,
All the dives that we make in pools, you don't have any risk. So there's nothing to say about pool diving. In deep diving, you always master the depth where you're going. It's always something that you can do without any problem. You never start freediving going like 80 meters. You start like with 6 meters, then 8, then 10, then 15, then you'll do 20 if you're good, and then you will do 21, 22, 23, and stay like for a whole week at this depth, and 1 meter and 1 meter again. And this is how you progress in freediving actually. So like for a competition, if you want to do like 55 meters, you know that you are perfectly fine to do that. You did it several times at training before. You never go to the unknown. You know what I mean?
yeah,
It's always something you announce before and something you can do.
right,
You understand?
of course, yeah,
This is the way we progress actually, and this is the way we can do it safely. And under the ice, there is a risk actually as well. I don't really know how to manage it actually. I just go. No, there's a few emergency exits, I would say.
okay,
We do like holes every 20 meters, I think. But anyway, when you have done like 80 meters and you have to go to the next one to get an exit, and you already want to breathe since the first 20 meters in 1 degree water, it's there's a risk taking. There's a risk taking, but it's okay. I mean, I accept it.
Well, that brings us neatly on to the dive that you achieved, the longest breath held underwater as a free dive, and you swam 120 meters under ice in Finland, if I'm not mistaken. Let's talk about how the beginnings of that. How do you train specifically for a challenge like that?
Well, I train the same as usual, except that I'm adding cold water acclimatization. So it means I have, to be specific, I have 3 trainings of pure free diving, pure apnea per week.
Okay.
In pool, dynamic free diving. I have 2 cardio training per week. I have 2, I would say, weightlifting trainings. I have 2 body weights trainings.
Wow.
And I have 3 to 4 cold water acclimatization trainings per week.
Gosh.
That's it. So
full
big
schedule
weeks.
though. Yeah.
Yeah, actually it's 2 trainings per day.
Right.
Either one like fitness and cold
mix of
water,
it. Yeah.
like cardio and free diving, cardio and cold water. That's it. So I have basically 2 things per day, and I have to find the time to rest as well, to eat well.
Sure.
So big weeks, actually too big, a bit too big for me. I'm having trouble organizing all my stuff, because on the other side I have to manage a lot of things. What I was talking about, like all the professional activities that are surrounding this freediving activity of mine, which is all the work I have to do with my sponsors, all the conferences I have to give, the interviews like this one, my projects that are going on that I have to organize, and it's a lot of
stuff.
A lot of work.
And how many weeks do you do before a race, before a dive like that? How, the weeks that you're talking about where you're doing 2 trainings a day?
Well, the world record attempt would be in March, and I started training mid-September.
So a good 6 months.
Yeah.
Wow. And do you get to actually train on the lake that you're going to be swimming beneath, or you never see that until the day?
No, because it's in Canada.
Of course. Yeah.
So no, I don't see it before like 2 weeks before the attempt.
Right.
Until 2 weeks before the attempt.
And would you get to swim in it then?
And then I will be swimming in there.
You're swimming there, right? Okay.
I'll be swimming in there, because I have the chance to have a Canadian team over there, which is going to help me to build the setup, because it's a huge work.
Right.
We have like tons of ice to remove, to dig those emergency holes. We have hundreds of meters of rope to deploy underwater, so I can have my safe line, my guideline. There's 2 lines.
Okay.
And the 3rd line for their safety divers that are next to me as well. There's a lot of things to build. Actually, it's a big setup. I cannot just go up for a weekend and dive in a frozen lake. There's a logistic that is too big for that. This is something I cannot do before,
right,
to be there, actually, to get there.
And I guess you need to prevent it from freezing over again as well.
Yeah, every morning we have to break the ice again when we are on location on the setup, because it freezes during the night, but the ice is very thin in the morning, so that's okay.
And let's specifically talking about that moment before you go in. You've got an hour before you're doing your dive. What is your mental state? How do you prepare? What are the things that you do to get yourself into the position to actually take that plunge?
Well, there is a big preparation. I'm doing a 2 hours preparation before. It goes through a lot of stretching, a lot of visualization. I visualize my performance in real time, walking on the ice, watching at me swimming under the ice like this.
Really?
Yeah, on the setup.
So you're imagining yourself.
Yeah. So I walk along the setup, and I watch myself actually swimming under the ice at the exact place where I will be swimming.
Wow.
I do it like several times, just to prepare my mind and my brain actually to what's going on, to what's coming on. So I do a lot of visualization like this. I do a lot of stretching, then a lot of breathing exercises. a lot of breath hold exercises as well, and then when I have finished all this, I'm like kind of a hypnotic state of mind. I don't see very much what's happening around me. I'm like in my
Blinkered.
Yeah, blinked. And that's it. And a few minutes before the attempt, I go out of my last preparation breath hold. I breathe as much as I can. I get out of my dry rub, which is this kind of huge parka that I have that keeps me warm.
Yeah.
And I just go very slow in the water. I stay in the water for like 2-3 minutes, the time for my body to get acclimatized to the shock, the temperature shock. And as soon as my body is starting to acclimatize, I take a last breathe and I go.
Two other things about preparation. Do you have to, once you're in that zone and you're kind of hypnotized and you're blinkered, do you have to not be around other people? Do you have to kind of say, right, this is the moment?
No, it's okay.
Right.
They can be around. It's okay. I'm so focused that nothing can reach me, actually. It's
wow.
Yeah, I'm very relaxed, focused, and no fear, no apprehension, no stress. Just very focused on my goal, actually.
Do you have a kind of a psychologist with you doing that, or is it completely your own?
No. I do it alone.
Do it alone.
Yeah, I've learned it alone, actually, through the years, through my years of competitor in freediving. Yeah, it's a process I've learned myself.
And in terms of food and drink, I mean, I imagine that you want to not have a full stomach doing something.
I live in France, so that's difficult.
I was going to say, what can you eat? What can't you eat? What do you drink in preparation?
Basically, just healthy.
Right.
That's it.
But
just healthy.
But you must have to give your body a break before. You're not going to want to be digesting.
Oh no! Yes, I just have a quick breakfast.
Right.
Something very easy to digest, and that's it. But I need to have some energy as well. To compensate the caloric waste because of cold water. So I cannot be like hypoglycemic if I'm going for this kind of dive. So I have to eat some carbs in the morning, but carbs that will be easy to digest, actually.
Okay.
Complex carbs easy to digest. That's the key.
Good. Give us a specific, like a baked potato.
Yes, potatoes, bit of rice,
right? Okay.
Stuff like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So now you're underwater. You've taken the plunge. What are you feeling? Where is your head? What is your instinct in those first moments? How are you feeling?
Well, just before to go, I take my last breath. I give up with all my last thoughts about what's going to happen. I abandon myself actually to something I don't know, that transcends me a little bit. No fear anymore. I go and we'll see. But I'm very confident at that moment. And then I go, and for a certain time, which will be probably around 30 meters, 25 to 35 meters, let's say, I will be very comfortable. Okay. So I will be in this kind of state in which I was just before to go, like very hypnotic, very relaxed, the thoughts coming in and going, and very, very fuzzy, actually, very very comfortable. And suddenly the urge to breathe is going to pop, and then all the reality is going to come back straight to my mind and my body. And from this moment until the end of the dive, it will be a very long process of undertaking myself in this kind of very specific efforts, which is trying to overpass a surviving reflex, which is the breathing envy. And it's only mental. It's only about mental strength. That's it. So, well, I don't know. It's just leaving my brain on the side and and keep going, you know.
I mean, I'm thinking if I'm running and I really want to stop, I'm like, come on, Teo, come on. Do you talk to yourself?
That's
you
it.
Can,
that's it.
You're just
that's
saying, can you do this?
That's it. But it's about mental strength and about staying as relaxed as you can as well. This is what is very strange in freediving. It's not like, okay, now you're gonna go and like you push yourself and you translate it to your body, like getting more dynamic and forcing more. And no, you have to do it for your brain, for your mental strength, but you have, besides of it, to keep your body in this kind of relaxation state as long as you can.
Wow.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
This is very...
There's a duality to it.
Yeah, exactly.
The challenge. What are you kind of sensory-wise? What are you seeing? What are you hearing? Are there people cheering? Is there someone above you? Are you hearing, I don't know, dolphin noises?
No, under the ice it's very, very strange in frozen lakes because it's one of the only places on Earth where I have experienced this kind of silence.
Okay.
It's scary a little bit.
Really?
Yeah, you there is not a single sound. It's very strange. You can hear everything, your movements in the water sliding on your skin, your heartbeats. You hear everything because there is not a single sound.
Wow.
Yeah, this is very strange.
Yeah.
But this is an incredible experience to live.
Yeah.
To be in frozen lakes under the ice.
You know, in meditation, they say you kind of have to focus on three things in the room and center yourself, or three sounds. Do you practice a similar thing when you're under the water? Do you kind of, or
not really? No, not really. I just take advantage of this comfort zone as long as I can, and then as soon as the breathing envy is coming, I just try to stay relaxed and focus on my objective as long as I can, and that's it.
Are you aware of how well you're doing as you're going, or are you just kind of thinking, I've just got to do this for as long as I can?
No, I'm aware of. I'm trying to stay focused on my lucidity and how I am. I don't know, maintaining my brain abilities. You know, if I can still think clearly. You know, if I can. Keep seeing things clearly as well. This is very important because the thing we want to avoid is like blackout.
Okay.
This is the thing we want to avoid as we are freediving. This is the hypoxic blackout. This is the main problem we can face in freediving. To avoid this, one of the ways to avoid this is to stay very focused, like listening your body and how it works. Be attentive to your sensations and your body.
And you're aware of the kind of meters that you're going. I mean, I guess you can measure them by the holes or the ropes.
Yes.
So you know
how
far you've got to go.
Yeah, 20 meters. I want to breathe. I have like 85 meters more to do.
Oh my God. Extraordinary.
Yeah, it's
really
pretty hard.
And in terms of the way that time passes, is it slower? Is it faster? Is it kind of the same?
Oh, well, it's very fast when you're good. And it's very long when it's hard.
Of course. Same as anything, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, this comfort zone is very, very short, but it is actually, it's way shorter than the other phase that's way harder. So yeah, no, when it's hard, it's long.
Have you ever had a hypoxic blackout when diving?
No, never. I'm actually never. I'm one of the only freediving competitors in the what we say the highest world ranking that never experienced an hypoxic blackout.
Wow.
Yeah, never, ever. Yeah, it means I don't know. It means I've never pushed it too far, I guess.
Or
I should maybe.
I don't know about that. It's probably a good thing not to have done.
Yeah.
You don't want to see it as an achievement. So you're back at the surface, having achieved the dive. You talked before about that feeling of coming back and feeling very relaxed. I'm assuming you're not feeling so relaxed when you're coming up after a...
Oh yes, after the attempt, it's like, wow,
Right.
all the pressure is dropping and everything is nice, beautiful and sweet. So
Really?
yeah.
And are you feeling the cold? Are you feeling exposed, or is there a warmth? Do you see the light at the end of the tunnel?
No. You don't. I mean, I don't feel the cold so much because I stayed in the water for like 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Like 2 to 3 minutes to acclimatize at the beginning, 3 minutes for the performance. And so that's like 5 to 6 minutes underwater, and that's it. So that's not so long. I would feel the cold if I would stay like more than 8, 9 minutes, 10 minutes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's when your body starts to go into that.
Yeah, that's when my body starts to really go down in temperature. And when we dive, when we actually swim in cold water, in very cold water, when you go out of the water, you feel very good for like 5 minutes. You feel like you're indestructible,
I'm sure.
the king of the world.
Yeah.
And then we have what we call the after drop effect, which is a physiological how to say that, a physiological mechanism where the blood that was close to your vital organs, because of the cold, because when you're in the cold water, there's a vasoconstriction as well as in freediving actually, and the blood is shifting back to the vital organs, exactly the same thing.
Right.
And then when you go out of the water, the blood is going to go back in your arms and legs, and is going actually to get the cold that you have,
right.
that you accumulated in your arms and legs. And the blood is going to come back to your core, inside your body, and so this is the reason we call it after drop effect, is that you continue dropping in temperature even after you went out of the water.
Wow.
For like 15, 20, 25, maybe 30 minutes. Sometimes the temperature is keep dropping. You know what I mean?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, it makes sense. So it's cooling your blood as it kind of comes back.
Yeah,
to
and then you get cold in the core actually, and so you start shaking after like 5 minutes, and you're like this for like 30 minutes shaking. But so I won't feel this effect if I stay like for just 5 minutes in this very cold water.
Right.
I would start to feel it after 7, 8, 9 minutes, 10 minutes maybe.
Okay.
If I'm well acclimatized.
And when you've achieved that record, you've come out, do you immediately think about the next thing you're going to achieve, or do you kind of bask in the...
Oh, no, I'm done.
You're done, right?
I'm done. I just want to have a drink with my friends and family and my girlfriend, and that's it, just have a good time and relax and take some holidays.
Okay. So it's not like that churn.
Oh, no. The job is done.
Okay.
The job is done. Now the time is to sharing it with people, medias, conference, talk to people about my experience, what I've done, how I've done it, and that's it.
I read an interview with Thierry Henry the other day, who was talking about the end of a sportsman's career being a kind of small death. Is there a small death in freediving, or is this something that you can do forever?
No, we can do it for kind of a long time actually. Jacques Mayol, the famous diver,
yeah.
he did his last world record at the age of 56, I think, something like that.
Wow.
So that's pretty old.
That was his last dive. I
think
kind of imagine
his last world record.
His last world record. I was going to say, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
So you can really go on forever.
Yeah.
Amazing. Do you intend to do that?
Yeah, I guess so. Yes, I guess so. Now, but I think I won't go in pools anymore. I will only go for under ice and deep diving in the sea from now. That's what I'll do.
Do you see it as a career, or do you see it as just being fortunate enough to do something you love that enables you to live in a certain way?
No, it's integrated to my my everyday life actually, but it's also a career. I mean, the career would be more like what I try to develop around actually this activity. The world record attempts itself is more like a personal challenge.
Okay.
The career would be all the different kind of projects that I drive besides of these world record attempts, like the documentary we're shooting, for example, for TAG Heuer,
Of course.
around the world record attempt, this documentary series I'm working on, all the conferences, all this kind of stuff are like the career.
Sure.
But the freediving itself is just like a personal challenge, actually.
It's the thing you love. I mean, you were wearing a TAG Heuer night diver for your world record achievement in Finland. What is the importance of wearing a watch in these scenarios?
Well, I mean, for me, it's obvious.
Not so much for me.
Holding your breath is about time.
So you're actually looking at your watch as you're doing it?
I mean, a watch is the main tool that a freediver needs.
Right.
Freediving is all about time.
Of course.
So, I mean, everything has been said here.
Yeah.
I mean, freediving is about time passing.
Yeah.
And about depth as well, a little bit, or distance. But basically, it's about time.
Sure.
Time passing.
Sure.
That's it. That is it.
We've got that. So that was all we needed on that front. We've pretty much covered everything. I guess it would just be good to talk now about Canada and what you've got to look forward to. Are you excited about it? How's all the preparation coming along?
Actually, not so well, because we have a very, very beautiful Indian summer.
Yeah.
And the water temperatures are not dropping as expected here in France.
Right.
So I'm having issues in my cold water acclimatization. And it's getting longer than what I was expected.
How do you tackle that?
There's no solutions. I just have to wait for the temperatures to drop down. For now, the water in which I'm training in Nice, in my hometown, is about like 11 degrees. Last year at the same time, I was already in like 7 to 8 degrees water.
Wow.
But it's okay. It will come in time. I know here in Paris, for example, tonight, I'm going to dive in the canal. We have a canal here in
Are
Paris,
you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to dive, like not diving, but just like to swim in the canal. This is the place where I'm doing my cold water acclimatization when I'm in Paris, because it's the only place actually I can go. And the canal is like, I think now it's about 7 degrees, so that's very, very cold. So that's cool.
Right.
I'm doing it with some people, this kind of crazy people, this group on Facebook. They are diving in Paris all the year, and they are swimming in the canal all the year, and even in the winter. They're like what we call cold water swimmers,
Yes.
And cold water swimming is like it's a big thing, It's very famous, and so they cold swim in the canal during the whole winter. And so I go with them actually to do that.
Fantastic. Haven't they just recently dredged the canal as well? So it's clean.
Actually, the canal is clean.
Right.
The river Seine is not clean everywhere, I would say.
Okay.
But the canal is very clean actually. So there's no problem swimming in it. That's okay. I mean, you have some bicycles and stuff like that, and trolleys and stuff like that at the bottom, but that's not dangerous for human health, you know.
Sure.
There's no chemicals or like stuff like that inside, so that's cool.
It's funny to think that you're going to be cold water training in Paris rather than down in Nice in the countryside. There's something.
Yeah. I'm waiting for the lakes to freeze in Nice, actually.
Right.
Yes. The sea water is still at 18 degrees now, so it's very warm.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh God. Okay.
Yeah.
On that note, Arthur, thank you so much for joining us at The Edge. It's been absolutely fascinating speaking to you and wishing you all the luck in the world for your record
Thank
attempt
you.
next March.
Thank you for having me here.
Thank you so much for coming.
Thanks.
Thank you for joining us at The Edge, a podcast by TAG Heuer. Don't forget to subscribe on Spotify, iTunes, or wherever you get your podcasts. The Edge is also an online magazine. Go to magazine.tagheuer.com for more articles, interviews, and photo series that bring together our love of watches and our desire to push ourselves to the edge of our limits. I'm your host, Theo van den Broeke. Until next time, keep an eye out. This is The Edge.